Also, open discussion. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, call roll. Pledge. Okay, roll.
All right, Roxanne, Batson, Mary Aaron, Batson, Tom Hilbert,
Here.
Michelle Flavich, here. Lynn Polly, here. Senator, absent, I think on Zoom. And Michelle Woodruff, here. Right.
Okay, introduction of our new member. Norm is not the representative of the board anymore, Michelle Flavich.
Welcome. Okay. Two Michelle's are better than one.
Hardly ever two Michelles in anything.
Yeah, right, you should grow up with me.
Public participation rules, we won't worry about that tonight unless we get. Okay, adoption of agenda. All in favor? Aye, opposed. Okay, approval of minutes, January 13th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve that beautiful day back in January.
Wow.
All in favor? Aye, opposed. Okay, public comments. Is there anybody online?
This John, I don't think
Hey,
you
John, all
muted.
right. Do you have any public comment, John?
Looks like he's in the operating room.
Yeah.
No, I do not, Tom. Thank you, though.
Did you hear you guys?
Can you hear us, John?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
I don't know, there's always they're on, but I
I have no
Oh.
idea.
Did Haley step out before she left?
Can you hear
Did
me
Haley step
okay?
out Before she left?
I mean, it's always on, never had to turn on volume or anything.
He's good. Hi, John.
I'm
Can you
good.
hear us?
Yeah.
We can't hear you.
Yep.
We don't have sound, so he's good
Okay.
to go, right? We'll just infer for you, okay,
Yep.
sir? I'm the
Okay,
voice of John Sumner. Yes, charge it.
Oh, one finger salutes, John.
Know where it's off.
You know what, we can watch the chat. John, if you wanna say something, put it in the chat, okay?
You can hear us.
Wonderful, thank you, sir.
I'll do that. All right, good, good. Okay, any correspondence? I don't think so.
No, we gotta do some chat. I'll put it on the chat is what we did, so.
Okay, no correspondence, right, Lynn?
Nope. That's wrong. No.
Do you have any, comment?
It's fine, it's John, don't worry about it.
Yeah, we can-
It might affect everything else.
Okay, rolling forward.
It might affect the other way.
Is there building happening? I mean, and we're just staying within, they're just staying within
Yeah, we're
zoning?
matching.
Okay, when I noticed the date today, I was like, nothing's been being needed to have an approval on since January, but
Nothing else comes across, then you got decks and porches and stuff like that, roofs.
all within,
Houses and
all within zoning, all within code. Okay, cool. Awesome, good to hear
Abby, what would you, you have something
Yeah,
on?
I'll come up here, I guess. This.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just give you guys a,
it.
Yeah.
That's her.
that's me.
We're gonna try you again, John. Can you unmute?
Can you give us a shout out, John?
Can you unmute so we can see if we can hear you?
well, yes, I can.
Oh.
Hey,
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay.
thank
Um,
you.
Okay, so just regarding the master plan, I know that last time we met up or when Michelle and Roxanne came, we had some representatives from NEMCOG here, Melissa and Heather. They went over the questionnaires and everything. That has since been finished. I have copies of it. I have not passed it out yet because they were making some changes to a couple addresses. But I have those, and before you guys leave today, I'll print you off copies of the hard copy of the questionnaire, the survey. There's also a QR code for it, so you can, if you let me know if you want hard copies for people, I can print those off for you. Otherwise, you can get the QR code. I'm gonna post it on the township's Facebook page. We'll get it up on the township's website, share it, get it out there. As Heather and Melissa said, the more of those we get filled out, the better for our community, right?
Can we send them electronic as well?
That I don't know. I don't know, but maybe I'll look into it. So that's really all I have for that. They said that they would be happy to come to an in-person meeting, maybe our next meeting, once we start to get some feedback from those master plan surveys.
I'll just say that that was the credit. I was not looking forward to it because I thought, oh my gosh, we're gonna be here for 5 hours. And we were here for a few hours. There's no doubt about it. But we went from, do you remember the number of questions that were?
It was a lot, like, I don't know, 200 or something.
Said no one's ever gotten 50. It was like 47. Because there was a lot of duplication from township to township to township, and it was. Tell me, you guys would say this, if you received a survey with over 200 questions on it, would you even? I probably throw it away. Correct. Correct. And even, over 40 is a lot, but when you look at it from the bigger picture, you hope that people who are gonna take the time to open the email or the letter, whatever, are gonna wanna take that survey, but. I think for the most part, everyone was in agreement, every township had their say. So if there's ever any pushback, or every municipality, I should say, if there's ever any pushback. Everyone had their voice heard, so it was cool to be part of, it just to hear, reasonings and things like that, so that's just my little bit of input on it.
There is like some postcardy type things that you can post around, some flyers and stuff. And then Montiel was having, I think Omega print yard signs. I think just like the staked yard signs. She asked if we wanted any. So I got 3 for the township. Figured we'd put them at the Southside Fire Station and we can put one out here. And then if there's another good place in the township that we can put that, or a high traffic area that we can get people to scan that. It's just take a picture of the QR code and fill it out as you
We have
go.
in our yards.
I don't see why not. I just have to reach out to her and see about getting some more.
Put them in window of Myers. Homer.
Foot traffic, where is there a lot of foot traffic in the township?
So, yeah, I mean, we could do that, but also if we were gonna put them in the window there, we just put the papers, the flyers, because it's just a QR code. That's all that is. Yeah. Yeah, scan me and do the survey. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Yeah, because it is, you guys remember when we we're doing those, some of it is like township or city specific, and so then they can just select where they're from and it doesn't matter. The more the merrier. If you're going to sporting events or you got, somebody's t-ball game or soccer or whatever, basketball, get out there. You can use your phone and have them fill out the surveys. The more we get, the better off we're gonna be. So I'll get you guys those when I'm done talking, which is not gonna be until the end of the meeting, so you're welcome. So that's, I think all I have for the master plan update. Do you guys have any other questions about that? Like I said, I think the next meeting, somebody from NEMCOG will come and talk, but right now there's nothing else to update. I don't know.
There is, there's an end date. I want to say it was. We get a lot of time.
It might be.
No, I'm not good. Heather and, what was her name?
Melissa.
Melissa.
This must be wrong because the thing that I'm looking at is public input services return to your community by May 31st of 2025. So I'm guessing that that's not accurate because we didn't even have the surveys by then. So there ends up being 69 questions on here. And I don't know if those are all township or some of them are,
Because there was part for city.
right, some of them might have been city driven, but like I said, yes, I'm sorry. The last 18 are for the city of Alpena. So there's 50 questions and an additional comment section. So, but yeah, like I said, I'll get those printed and the time really got away from me. It was 4:30 and then it was like 5 minutes to 6. So whoops. That's all anyways for that. I think at that first meeting, I said something like we should each shoot for getting 50 people, 50 surveys apiece. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Would that really be these?
It would be amazing. I mean, 50 apiece. Think about, what they say they usually get. I'm saying if we individually reached out to 50, no, if we individually reached out to 50 people, I mean, yeah, each planning commission member, that'd be awesome. That'd be, I think they were saying some of their surveys, they got like, right, right? Yes, I'll just camp out. Exactly, right? Take it to the beach with you, take it to exactly. Okay, so. Good with that one?
Okay, zoning ordinance update,
I just have a few things that I've been kind of collecting, that I wanted to share with you guys. Some of it is just, it's all just open discussion, but some of it I've had more conversation than others about it. If you guys they have the packet with those or no? Okay, so, some of the questions that I've received in my office, kind of have thrown me for a loop, and Lynn as well, when I reference, her, and then we've reached out to Denise to talk about it. One of them is regarding the setback, in the waterfront residential. I know that's something that you guys dealt with, was that the tiny home? And it's not been changed in the ordinance, but if it is a platted subdivision, the setback changes to the 25 feet from the from the property line. So if it's not platted, right, high water mark. So that was, if you remember that tiny home on El Cajon Beach, that was one of the issues that they had. So that's not something that is changed in our ordinance. So maybe something to look at for changing and clarifying that in there. Questions?
You can tell that section. I think, like, what are they needing us to update?
So it doesn't say for a platted subdivision that it's 25 feet from the property line. I mean, it's up to you. Or we can just pass it around if you want. The way that the zoning reads right now is the front minimum. Yeah, it's section, 4-17, and it's under, yeah. Standard development standards for a waterfront residential district, lots and standards. Setback is number 2. Oh. I'm going home. Yeah, so again, it says in here, waterfront minimum 25 feet from from ordinary high water mark. For a platted subdivision, it's 25 feet from the property line. So that's, yes.
look at the vote.
You guys can, yeah. Yes. Right. And yeah, we'll get you guys a copy of this. Yeah. Another thing that I've come across is, just under the general schedule of regulations, something that I found to be odd was that on conservation district, there's no maximum percentage of lot coverage. So area of all the buildings, it's just blank there. And I found that to be interesting. I would think that the conservation district would, have something else, like the forest recreation and all the residentials are 35% max coverage for the lot. So in a conservation district, I would think there would be some kind of a lot coverage max. Just made sense, but there isn't one. Something that has also come up and kind of been discussed between Kevin and I and Denise is the tiny homes. My understanding is that when they first kind of came about, there was a lot of interest in it and no real guidelines, so it was added into the ordinance. But something that we've noticed is that all tiny homes that have been presented to the planning commission have been approved because by default, they have to still fit into the zoning guide. So if you guys would consider the possibility of just removing that out of the planning commission, out of the zoning ordinance. Right? Because we've not denied any, and in fact, it's really just costing more money to have them come here. So just something to think about. Um, I don't know that, I mean, they still have to meet the requirements of the zoning. That's something that we can ask Denise, but so far, everything that's been presented, and Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, if they're coming to build, they still have to follow the zoning guidelines. So there's really no reason that I would think that,
You gotta change the minimums, there are ones. There are two, you can build 600 feet or more, there are one you build 96 feet or more.
Right.
Waterfront residential, so like,
So you don't,
we could just take the square footage out of those parts.
so we won't have a minimum square footage at all in our.
Yeah, otherwise we're gonna have to come for.
just something to think about. Like I said, you guys talk amongst yourselves about it. It's just something that we had discussed because so far none of them have been denied. There's really no reason to deny them. So if you guys have input, just stop me. I'm just gonna read off this list.
Well, the
So
subdivision,
you would be aware of that, like our subdivision 1700.
our subdivision, you have to file bylaws, I don't set those bylaws. But around Long Lake, your waterfront residential, minimum size is 960. But 90% of our tiny homes go in around the lakes.
Yeah.
And none of them have been denied, and yes, we've had neighbors say, well, we don't want tiny homes. But they still have the standard,
And if you're have a homeowners association,
that's their deal.
that's their.
So if you had no minimum, someone who build a 200 square foot house.
They're building.
Well, I know that it's
Yeah, then you got building code that would deal with, not zoning.
Because even like the one down on Parks. That John, that gentleman, his main floor was only over 200 square feet. The one that the guy didn't tear all the way down, but it fell and broke the blades,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you know. That building wasn't even 60 foot wide. 20 foot long, so.
Actually, says no less than 200.
Thanks, Lynn.
Well, what says that?
So our ordinance already says no less, no,
Just that they're. They have to do a special use.
oh, but it's tiny homes is the,
Yeah.
that's what's pulling it out. Got it,
Yeah, so it would just be changing it from special use to just a permitted by right
correct.
and still, right, right.
Could you just combine that with any other ordinance when it comes to building something? The zoning ordinance for building anything, like just eliminate tiny homes as a subsection and just put the language in of minimum of 250 feet or whatever.
Yeah, or just, you can just change it in here to from special use to just permitted.
Just permit.
Yeah, so like, I know you guys can't see it, but I mean, that's what Lynn was looking at, is just the schedule. And it's just, that's, that's same.
Oh, yes, that is. Why is the,
Send money to you.
There you are.
I can't hear anybody on the board. I can only hear the speaker,
Oh,
You know, you can't be sitting back like this.
Oh,
We have to be close.
like Michelle right there. I can't hear her.
Yeah.
How about that, Ron?
No. Everything's coming through the other microphone.
oh,
Okay, well, they got a new speaker system, so we'll get the AV guys in here in the morning.
when does that mean it's
Nothing
not
yet.
recording for you?
I'm fine with this.
Means it's not
but-
recording for you either. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can just shut them off then, it's fine. Okay, so again, that would just be, that section would stay in here, just change it from the S with an asterisk just to a P and it'd be permitted by right. Just something again to consider because it is actually costing more money than. The last one that I have here, up for consideration is changing or removing the, chickens, ducks and geese section. So there's been a lot of concern about that and people saying they don't understand why in the township, which is a lot of places more rural with more acreage, we're not allowing the, like chickens, for example. Whereas when the city is just allowing it, they have some restrictions. I think it's 5 or 6 hens or whatever. No roosters, can't be free range. They have to have their coop comes to get inspected and it has to be secured to the ground so it doesn't blow away or whatever. So there's been a lot of questions about that. So something to consider be maybe looking at what the city is doing, and seeing if we wanted to adjust ours. Another consideration for that, I haven't checked it in a few weeks, but there was 2 bills on the table for the House. I think it's House Bill 449 and House Bill 450, which they're looking to just allow chickens in general anywhere, as long as you have a half an acre or more, it'd be 5 hens per half acre, I think it is, and then an additional 5 for every half acre after that, or every acre after that, up to 25. So if that comes through at the state level, then just keep that in mind. That's something that I've talked to Denise about as well, just so that just kind of keep it on our radar. That's a potential thing that's might be coming through at the state level.
And if it comes through at the state level.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. As far as the GAMP stuff, I did have somebody reach out to me when I first started about having like a goat in an R1 area. I just guided them towards the GAMP information. But I think that was just kind of ended up being a moot point. So the GAMP is the, rural, agricultural stuff. We're saying that if you fall into X, Y, Z criteria, that you just are allowed to have, farm animal type with like, there's a limit to it or whatever, without getting into the whole. Right now, according to the zoning, it just says roosters are prohibited. Chickens, ducks, turkeys, guinea fowl must be confined in a properly designed coop with, located at the rear of the property. Each fenced and covered enclosure shall be designed with adequate space, cannot cover more than 50% of the rear yard. Enclosures shall be located at least 25 feet from any dwelling on a neighboring parcel. And then it says no chickens, ducks, turkeys, guinea fowl, or geese shall be kept on parcels with more than 1 dwelling. Which. So. Yeah, it's a special use permit. So basically they have to come here, I have to pay $600 to be allowed to have their chickens. Well, right, not as many now. Yeah, so again, I think, that's up to you guys. Something that could be considered, especially with those House bills coming through. If those pass, then I think we would have to reevaluate it anyways. And we can look at what, the city and some of the neighboring communities are allowing and doing just to see.
That's probably what a lot of doing, but she was. She wrote our ordinance, but there's some other. Municipality. You know, because we're kind of like the city and then we're kind of.
Yeah, I think just the big thing is that it's that $600 fee to have the special use, So, and then I think, and I don't think we put it in here, but if you guys want to discuss the short-term rental stuff, that kind of, we just dropped it after January and never moved forward with it. For whatever reason, is there,
Well, what city written ordinance on it?
I'm not aware.
Okay. Pressfield had an ordinance on it, I know that. I don't even know if it's short term, it's referencing. But I definitely think that we need to work in concert with neighboring municipalities on that, because they'll choose not to. I mean, I need to look at it from that standpoint, because we know we have enough Airbnb and that kind of thing, but. Still, so we're going to consider it.
Okay.
And it'll help our property owners if they have the same rules.
Yeah, I think,
What ties our hands, I think, is that the number one complaint is the police or the law enforcement. We can enforce it, zoning ordinance all we want, but law enforcement is the one that's all being responsible.
Yeah.
For the complaints that we're getting.
yeah, I mean, ultimately, if I come and knock on your door and say, hey, you're violating this, you're gonna be like, get off my property. That's the bottom line, it just is what it is. Right?
Yeah. there's no- Fine and all we want, but
Right.
it's not the property owners that are.
It kind of falls into line. I've been getting complaints about noise ordinances as well, and it's the same thing. I mean, there's just only, it's logistically very difficult to enforce. I'm not saying that we should have one, we shouldn't have one, whatever, that's up to you guys, but just, again, these are all just kind of things to consider in my perspective, just my own opinion, especially of like the chicken one, for example. Nobody, I'm sure we all know somebody in the township who owns chickens, right? But there's not been a single person come here and ask for a special use permit. So by having this ordinance, all we're doing is asking them to violate the ordinance, and I don't think that that's helpful or effective for us. So as you're kind of going through, the Michelles are sitting together for a reason.
I was like, no, we'll just say you can't have them here.
But I guess, as you know, in your spare time, as you guys are looking through the zoning stuff, those are just kind of things to consider when you're looking at the ordinances. If you're questioning something, I guess ask yourself, how can we enforce this? What can we do to enforce this? Do I know people that are doing this, that are violating it? What can we do to prevent that as a planning commission from asking people to basically violate the ordinance? Right.
Well, that's that, it's the court or an ordinance, it's and I mean, we can say we can't answer papers.
Yeah.
But again, if Patty was knocking on somebody's door,
Right.
you know, what are we gonna do? Find them? Okay.
I mean, and I think that we've seen the blight ordinance even is very difficult to enforce. You can tell people to clean it up, but at the end of the day, the township is not going to provide them with a dumpster and manpower to clean it up. So,
It's their house, if it's a mess.
no,
You can't. You don't have to make-
no, exactly. That's, again, just things to think about as you're kind of glancing through these, and we're looking at doing updates and changes and stuff. You know, the short, yeah, absolutely.
Find somebody for having chickens, they're charging $600 to get back chickens.
Right.
With, you know, like, again, and we're actually moving on. Sure. Have a meeting. Correct. You pay all of us to show up to a meeting and, yeah. Losing money.
Yeah, that, and again, that's kind of where the tiny home thing came into play. Was we've not denied any of them. There's really, according to the building standards, no reason to deny it. The zoning says it has to be greater than 250 square feet. So, just again, something to consider.
Not their home. Cause we got,
Okay, all water.
yeah. It's gonna, all of it. Before we flood in the drain, but I'm on the ground too. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's all I have here. If you guys have anything else, like I said, just throwing out some ideas. CIP, you want me to just keep going down the list? The CIP, so it was brought to our attention, my attention, that we don't have a CIP. We do need to have one. It's very uncommon for a township our size to not have one. We're required to have one, so we need to get working on that.
Yeah, and it's actually something the master plan kind of guides us on to. So, actually, I think we should get a committee going on it, but. Need that master plan kind of. You know. Yeah, the only one in fire department, the only one with water department. Those are gonna be done by the experts in the field. Right, they're like roads would be like.
In December 23, said Supervisor Stevens discussed ideas for forming a joint capital improvement plan.
And then in, January 24, it was discussed again, as well as in October. Yeah, so, I mean, we've been kicking the can down the road for years. But again, when you said master plan, that's why it's been kicked down the road, because we haven't had a new master plan. So if we don't even know when we're gonna have our master plan, and we don't know that. That's what I think that's what the surveys have to be.
I know.
Bubble stuff, surveys, so I. Yes. Yes. So. I think once we know more about the master plan, once we have a date on master plan rollout, we could discuss and add it to the agenda. Before we. That would be great. What's that mean?
Thinking about my flowers. Yeah, big clump.
So, you have, what ideas do you have on safety or?
I don't really have anything. I'm still kind of fumbling my way through learning this stuff. For the minutes here, see where it says Supervisor Skibby responded that he's working with the company Munetrix, and putting together a program. We do have the Munetrix. I don't know anything about a program or anything about that. But I can reach out to them and see if they were working on something. That's really all I know about it.
Like that. For the record. Stop there.
Okay. Okay. Which is happening. Yeah, they're also in the process of doing that by that, I forget what they call it, unmotorized or something, basically the sidewalk footpath in 23 South, that's gonna go down to Partridge Point. Yeah, so there was a grant for that. I haven't heard from MDOT in a little bit regarding that, but I know we were trying to set up a meeting with MDOT, myself, and Larry Clark from the Old South Bay Corridor Group to try and kind of figure out what's going on with that. But I have seen the drawings for it, and I don't know what they're waiting on, but
How editable is that, or how, is it a living document where you can update it?
It gets updated every year,
Okay,
and, it should be updated probably by the end of the year. So that when we start budgeting, this is our guide of budget, let's say, we know what the plan.
yeah. So even without the master plan, I mean, these kind of ideas we can utilize to start making some kind of a plan. I know Michelle mentioned something about the road commission stuff, so that's something that I've been working on. Because to me, I feel like we should have an extended plan for roads instead of every year saying, well, let's see what we need to do. Yeah, right. So like this year, for example, at the board meeting, which side? Get in line. So again, this is my first experience doing this kind of stuff, but I did my ride with the road commission and, Mr. Bigden showed me some of the areas that needed to be worked on. And then we kind of looked at the plan together. We did approve that at the board meeting, but my thought on that was let's get together an extended 5 or 10-year plan so that I can say, looking next year, okay, so this year we're going to seal coat. There was, I think, 3 roads on there, Pine and I don't remember, Meyer maybe. But then I know that in 3 to 5 years, that needs to be on the plan again to redo, instead of having to evaluate it and say, do we need to do it this year? Do we need to do it this year? I'll know going forward, and we can have a spreadsheet that says, look, we need to start looking at this at this point in time, or what roads do we have the potential of paving? What roads are going to need, there's several roads in the township that need to be completely redone. Yeah, that whole neighborhood needs to be redone though on multiple aspects. It needs to be redone. Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that is, it kind of falls into this, because if we're going to do one, we need to do it all. We're not going to tear up the road and then go back through and tear up the water. But you're talking a lot of money. So. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I just think that we need to prefer dates. And we'll do that later. Well, I mean, it's best for the township employees, it's best for us to know if we're on track. I mean, it's a goal setting document, is really what it is. And
Yeah. And the other thing with it is that sometimes often it affects the grants. If it's not in your master plan or in your CIP, then you're not going to get funded for it. You have to have proof saying, look, this is something that we're trying to do.
So is it the best practice CIP in conjunction with the master plan?
I think so, yeah. I mean,
Because the master plan, we don't have to update it. We don't really want to update it.
no, but for budgeting purposes, as we're going through, we know like, okay, this year we're going to fall short on roads by $33,000. So we know that next year in budgeting, we need to make sure that we either have extra money put aside for that so that we can take care of it, or let's just say, for example, we knew that the boardroom needed a new floor. We need to be able to plan for that because it's going to cost, more than $5,000 or $10,000 to do that. So if we have it in our CIP, we can look forward to that and how to budget for it and know where we're at with it. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yep.
You gotta have your eyes dotted and your T's crossed, so let's.
Yep. And it has to be,
In the CIP. And then.
yes,
you know,
yes. And then we just start checking the boxes. Yeah. And then you just start checking the boxes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But as you said, Michelle, a living document, because sometimes we know that it might be a number 1 or a number 2 priority on there, but this money came up to be able to do something else, and it might be a lower level item, but that I don't know, but yeah.
They're looking at that really fine.
Yeah.
More type, disclosure.
Yeah.
So. Like up to and including termination, those.
Good to know. I'm gonna write that one down for later. Anything else for that? Okay. The Lake Huron Forever program. So I will talk about it. Tom, if you have anything to add, or Lynn, feel free to. They invited us to I don't know what you would call that, a brunch. What was that, last Friday or 2 Fridays ago? I don't remember. Thursday. I don't know. They're all the same day to me anymore. Anyway, we went to that. You have the paperwork up there? Thank you. So, it was 2 weeks ago. Wow. So we met together at JJ's, had a little quick brunch, talked about the ways that we're connected with the waterways. So I'm not very well versed in this. But when was that, 2 years ago that the board signed on to be members of this Lake Huron Forever pledge? We actually, if you came in the side door, Lynn and I hung a poster from that meeting. So check it out on your way out. It's pretty cool. But anyway, so we signed up to do this. I don't really know a ton about it, but it's basically protecting our waterways and different things that we can do as community, as a township, individually to protect our water. A couple people did some presentations. Mike Collins from Veolia came and spoke about what the city is doing right now, because as we know, they're working on the clear wells. He, you know, taught us a little bit about that, the purpose of them, what they're doing, why they had to be replaced, that they've actually outlived their expectation by 2 years now. So that's why they're being replaced. Rachel Smolinski, the city manager, spoke about some of the different things that the city is doing, as far as like greenways and stormwater runoff collection areas, so that that water is being filtered and not just going in the storm drains or in the sewers. Daniel Moffett from NOAA talked to us about some of the education that he's doing on the glass bottom boat tours and the education that they're doing for kids. I think he said all third graders, or a large amount of third graders in the area and surrounding areas come and do some educational stuff at NOAA, and at the end of the year they get to go out on a glass bottom boat. So he talked to us and Meg Schwartz about like educating our kids and kind of teaching them young why it's important to protect our waterways. Mandy Curry talked about the Huron Pines Coast Watchers program. They told us that we have, I can't remember the number, but there's a section of like our area that all did this Lake Huron Forever pledge, and there's also a section in Canada. And the coastline of Ontario was quite a bit, like the mileage was quite a bit bigger than ours, but we had more coast watchers in our area than they had in theirs for even our smaller shoreline. And what they do is go out and do surveys of the coast. They take note of like the temperature, the air temperature, the water temperature, the winds. I think they were doing the piping plover count. Yeah, invasive species. All different stuff that they are documenting to kind of keep an eye on the like erosion and stuff like that. We broke down into some small groups and talked about different ways to keep the Lake Huron Forever pledge going and to keep individuals like myself who are new to it informed, because we don't really have a solid way to do that. And talked about some projects that we'd like to see in our communities. We were supposed to go to the rain garden that they have at the NOAA building, but we didn't make it there. But one of the things that I found interesting is that as far as our coastal grant that we received, we were really just using that money for master plan stuff. But some of the stuff that the city was doing was really cool, and we could definitely incorporate it into the township, as far as the city's plans to do, I think they said it was like 6,000 square feet or something of a pollinator garden, or 3,000 square feet back behind at the Bayview area. So they're going to plant that grassy area with a pollinator garden. It'll help them to cut down on the mowing and bring the pollinators in. So I think that there's opportunity for us to do that kind of stuff. I talked with them about the potential of starting small for us, since I'm new at this, and just doing that little section in front of the Southside Fire Station. It used to be planted with flowers and now it's just grass. So we're going to look into seeing what we can do to get just a small pollinator garden going. One of the other things that Lynn brought up was the potential of giving us a green roof like they have at the NOAA building. So we're going to look at it and see. I don't know what all that entails. I don't think we're going to be planting trees up there, but just different ideas that we can do to help our community and help protecting our waters. Any other questions about that or other input? Oh, yeah, there are grant opportunities. And that's what the city is using for a lot of their. I don't know. Do either of you remember that? Oh, yeah. So there's another lady whose name is Abby, who works for Huron Pines, and I'm gonna meet with her just to kind of start talking about this stuff and see where we're doing, because I feel like we could probably be doing a lot more. Yeah. Yeah,
Clean up this piece. I love what Mary Beth did for the Flower Fest. I think it was Mary Beth that did it. And next to Dr. Courier's.
Yeah.
house there, like a little seating area.
Yeah.
It's not like they use used as a football field anymore like it used to be. back in the
right. So I
day.
think there's a lot of opportunity for us to do that. I just, it's finding the places where we can do it. And again, that's why I said,
But even like, that are doing all these, like a Huron Pines or like a, Friends of the whatever,
yeah,
subdivision.
Yeah.
Thinking of the Partridge Point crew, that South Bay.
the South Bay corridor. Yeah.
Here, looking for it, why they renamed the bay. They re-
I'm recorded, so I'm just gonna mind my own business. Um, um, but yeah, there's definitely money out there and there's no reason why we can't be trying to get it. And there's some really cool projects. Justin Glusing mentioned that they were looking at trying to do a rain garden in that property that he wants to buy, or that they did buy, I'm sorry, that AMA ESD did buy behind their building on Ripley. So they'll have property there, and so they were looking at doing that. I don't know what all that entails, but like I said, it's worth looking into and seeing. There's property, there's space around this building where we could do some things. I think it just, filters through. Clean water. Yeah.
I just, it's been a big topic this year in the news, and like at the high school, they shot it down at the high school, they boarded it. I'm like, what's it? I'm just standing outside and reading. My garden.
That you have to, the rule says you have to treat it like, no more runoff can come off of that than it did when it was grass lot, so you have to slow it up. Spring garden,
Yeah, what,
like down there, we had that big retention pond. Big steel.
I think we need to start breeding dragonflies. We just start releasing them into all the ponds, get up to the mosquitoes. They eat the dragonfly, I don't know what they're called, dragonfly larvae, for lack of my knowledge. They eat mosquitoes. They eat the mosquito larvae in the waters, and the dragonflies, I think they eat mosquito. 9 billion dragonflies. Right? Right. I mean, bee tenders, is that like a chicken tender, a little bit different? Yeah, I just, there's a lot of opportunity. I'm curious about those pollinator gardens, if it will bring bees. But hopefully, if you are familiar with what they were doing at Mishkewis, with the volleyball courts there last year, I noticed that they mowed down the whole side of those, like, kind of like protective berms, and there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of milkweed plants growing on the side of that. So I was pretty sad about it. I don't think they did anything about it, but we used to go there and see all the butterflies all the time. So maybe, something that we can do, find a little section where we can plant milkweed, or whatever else pollinator friendly. A lot of that is like, finding out the local and native plants to the area, so that we're planting those, instead of invasive things. Yeah. Yeah. Right. And that's certainly communication. I mean, like I said, that would be something that, there's a potential. I know that since I've been here, I talk almost every day about planting flowers in these flower beds and, you know, what else we can do besides just having grass growing. So there's a lot of different opportunity. We just kind of need to reach out and figure out what we can do. Maybe it sounds like getting the South Bay and 32 people and the businesses out here on board with planting pollinator friendly type things in their, yeah, not really the ditch per se, because we got to keep that clean, but in some of like their grassy areas instead of having the lawns there. You know, I think we just start small and see where it goes. I know South Bay used to do potted plants on the bypath before, so. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Yeah, you're welcome.
Anything else on your agenda that's not written on? the agenda?
I don't have an agenda. I'm reading also off the agenda. If yeah, unless you guys have a better option, that'd be great. Yeah,
You know, with the city, that's
mm-hmm. Yeah.
a lot bigger budget.
Yeah, I don't know. The township does not have staff to do that. No, I know. Yeah, and some of the stuff is, I mean, like Dylan said, we can look at paying for it because we know that the money's going to come back to us, and usually they'll include their fee in that return.
Creative writing person though, so like just to stick to fact and that was tough to overcome as well. Details and.
I don't know, it's 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like your wife just got volunteered. Perfect.
Sounds like these are important.
Right? Let me just call Lisa. Hold on. You'll never guess what Tom said tonight. Okay. If you guys are good with me, I'll go print off the master plan survey stuff so you guys can take it with you. Anybody else, anything? Okay, good. Perfect. Thank you. And before you guys leave, like I said, check out the Lake Huron Forever stuff that's up there and the map that's out in the entranceway. It's pretty cool. Michelle would love to explain it to you.
Awesome.
I'll go print out.
Can you hear us, John?
No, I cannot. I can hear you. I mean, I hear you through the other microphone which is still on, but you don't have to. Testing 1, 2.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, you have anything to, for the good of the, group to add, John?
I do not. Thank you though for asking. Oh,
Thanks for logging in, John. Feel better.
I do. I will. So
Good. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
I second.
you're not here, John.
Okay.
Your vote doesn't count.
Dang.
All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Your vote doesn't count, John. Sorry. Bye, John.
Kind of like being at home. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Yes, yes. Just like at home, John.
Yeah.